So this video is about anxiety and the feeling of helplessness that can often come with anxiety, and we'll see if we can tap and get some energy moving around that feeling. I think it's particularly pertinent now because there is so much stuff with the pandemic, and it can often feel like, wow, we don't know where to put our feet, and the things keep changing, and is this ever going to end? And we thought it was going to be now, and now it's not, and it's like they keep changing the rules. So it's very difficult to feel that sense of stability and that sense of certainty and solidarity. So see if we can't get some energy moving around that with some tapping, and then see how that affects the mental resources that we have access to be able to think about this in a slightly more coherent way. So you start tapping at the side of your hand. All this fear and uncertainty, all this anxiety. You can also take a breath anytime you want. All this fear and uncertainty, all this pandemic related stress. When is it going to end? I'm really afraid. I feel really helpless. I feel like my future is out of my hands. I don't know what to do. And I feel I'm going to have to do things that I don't want to do, or not do things that I do want to do. And I feel really anxious about that. I feel all this anxiety. I can feel it all gathered in my, name your body part. It's really tough. This is a really difficult feeling. I feel so helpless about it, which makes me feel even more scared. And all my thoughts are rabbiting on in my brain, trying to make sense of what I'm experiencing, trying to tell me what this anxiety means. And I'm so used to listening to my brain that I've not actually stopped to listen to the anxiety itself. Both hands, beginning of the eyebrow. All this anxiety. All this anxiety. I feel so helpless. I feel so disempowered. I feel like I don't know what to do. And that feels really scary. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All this anxiety. Makes me want to be alert. I really wish it would go away. I hate the way this makes me feel. I absolutely hate the way this makes me feel. I get so angry with myself for feeling this way. And that just seems to make it worse. And then I feel all this frustration. And that's really difficult too. All this anxiety. I wonder what it means. I wonder what it says about me as a person. My brain has a few ideas. My brain wants to tell me how wrong I am for feeling this way. Which just makes me even more anxious. I wish I knew how to feel okay. I wish I knew how to feel okay. I spend so much time listening to my brain. I spend so much time listening to my brain that I neglect the part of me that really needs the help. I know that I'm feeling this anxiety because I have a need. And that need is to feel safe. And when my brain tells me I'm wrong for feeling anxiety, I definitely don't feel safe then. I'm so annoyed at that part of me. That keeps telling me I'm wrong for feeling anxiety. I'm not the only one that's annoyed. All this anger. All this frustration with myself. Or at least all this frustration, one part of me has with this other part of me. I have so many mixed feelings. Wow, what an experience this is. I'm having so many feelings right now. They're really intense and really overwhelming. I'm having so many feelings right now. It feels like it's too much. I really need to feel safe. I really have a strong need to feel safe. I know that that's my need. And maybe I've not known how to meet that need for safety before. But I really want to learn how to do that now. I really want to feel safe enough to feel this anxiety. Without feeling wrong or stupid. Maybe I could give that to myself. Maybe I could give myself that grace. To recognize that I'm having a nervous system response. in this instance, anxiety. That's what my nervous system is doing. It's trying to protect me by triggering the flight response. I hear that part of myself. To that part of me that's in flight mode, I acknowledge you. And I hear you deeply. I'm here for you. I'm with you. It's okay. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel scared. That means my nervous system is functioning normally. Functioning normally. I'm going to give myself permission to feel scared. Doesn't mean I'm bad or wrong. Feeling scared is how my nervous system is wired. It's there to warn me of some potential danger or some potential threat. I'm glad my nervous system works. And while acknowledging that my nervous system feels this way, I'm also going to acknowledge that right now in this moment, with the future that I imagine to be so terrible, still somewhere in the future, in this moment as I sit down and watch this video, I can feel safe to have my feelings. I can feel safe to show up for myself. And hold myself while I am experiencing anxiety. And be warm towards myself as I experience anxiety. Because the only reason I've not been doing that so far is because I learned from my environment, perhaps when I was growing up, that people who are struggling don't get help. Because when I was struggling, and I had needs, and those needs weren't met, sometimes not even acknowledged, I learned that this is how I should treat myself also. And I don't want to treat myself that way anymore. I want to change that now. I want to treat myself with a kind of warmth that I wish I had been treated with when I was growing up. All those times that I needed that warmth. And the people in the environment around me were too dysregulated themselves and in need of that warmth themselves, and had also never been given it. And so they could never pass that on to me. Well, I think I want to give that to myself now. I think I want to be warm to the parts of me that are struggling. And that might feel weird, because maybe there are parts of me that still believe I don't deserve that. That's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. Just in case those parts of me are misinformed. Just giving myself that warmth. Being open to my own struggles. Being kind to myself while I have my feelings. And really relaxing my whole body as I have those feelings. Relaxing my breath. Relaxing all the muscles in my body. Letting my heart beat fast. Letting myself have the experience of anxiety. And overwhelm. And helplessness. And noticing how vulnerable that feels. While not tensing up around them. While not tensing up around the experience that I'm having right now. Seeing how deeply I can relax into it. By using my body first. Trusting these feelings. That doesn't mean listening to all of the thoughts that come off these feelings. That's just my brain trying to make a meaning from what I'm experiencing. Instead, staying with myself. Staying with my experience. Staying in my body. As that body. For as long as I need. Staying with my breath. repatterning my nervous system to know that it's safe to feel my feelings, and that these feelings are safe to feel. Giving thanks to my nervous system for expressing itself in this way. Even though some parts of me really might not want it to, those parts are okay too. Okay, right hand under the left arm on the shoulder, big deep breath in. Letting it go. Big deep breath in. Letting it go. If you can breathe through the nose, go ahead and do that. And really just let go of the breath on the way out. Last big deep breath in. Letting everything go on the way out. So now holding yourself for as long as you need to while you experience these feelings. What we're doing here is repatterning the younger parts of ourselves that perhaps didn't get quite the nurture that they needed at the time while they were experiencing uncomfortable or intense feelings. And what we do when we're younger is we look to adults to regulate ourselves. If we're feeling dysregulated or an emotion's particularly intense, we look to an adult to how we should act and how we should treat ourselves when we're feeling that feeling. And if the adult is dysregulated themselves and maybe they're upset or frustrated or angry, then we start to take that on to be about us and start to think, well, this is how we should treat ourselves when we're struggling or feeling scared. You know, maybe the adult wants to shut the feeling down because it maybe is too much for them. So we learn that this is how a person should treat themselves. So we are re-regulating with ourselves by having the experience of the feeling and giving ourselves that touch. It's very useful to have that touch, that embodied touch that teaches the receptors in the nervous system that it's safe, that you're safe. You can also continue that with an internal monologue or dialogue, reassuring yourself it's safe, it's okay to have these feelings, okay to have that expression. The other way is to let go of your breath. So really have that response where you let go and drop everything on the exhale. If you're stressed, you notice that people sigh, so we just utilize these natural mechanisms to help us to repattern the nervous system to understand that it's safe to actually experience anxiety. Anxiety is not going to kill you. Feelings are not going to kill you. All of this stuff might feel really, really intense, but that's okay. You want to open yourself up to be wide enough to let that feeling, the intensity of that sensation run through your system so that you're not blocking it and suppressing it and having it cause all kinds of problems. It's really about like opening and softening and widening and like dilating yourself to let that experience happen. And as you do that consciously, you start to remove these built up nervous system responses that were perhaps not fully able to pass through you at the time that they were. So another way you can do that is by shaking it out. It's just about getting loose in the body, so that your nervous system can really just have that experience of feeling what it needs to feel and feel safe doing so. And then pretty soon you stop adding resistance to the feeling that is trying to be felt, because that's really where it all comes in. Like if you have an experience of fear, it's like, okay, I can shake, I can have all these self-regulatory mechanisms, but when you start to add resistance to it, which often comes in the form of some kind of fear of having that response. For instance, I was scared and an adult told me to stop being scared or stop being such a baby or something like that, and I learned that if I wanted to get my need for love met, I needed to act as if I was okay. So that meant suppressing the nervous system response, keeping it stuck in the body where it later comes out as, say, like maybe chronic anxiety, repetitive thought patterns, destructive tendencies, things like that. So it's really more about like opening, coming back to the body, coming back to that place where you can actually have that experience, have that feeling, and let it run through you. And then after you really turn towards it and directly into it and connect with it, then you can start to really lighten some of that emotional load and that chronic feeling of stress that's there in the background for a lot of you who are maybe watching this. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, anything else, then please do let me know. You can check out some of the other videos, they might be relevant to you. Breath work is good, movement is good, all of these things are very good. And yeah, let me know what you think. Feedback, comments, always welcome. Thanks very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.